Hello, welcome to this podcast. My name is Jimmy O, a man with probably the worst hair in the podcasting game. I'm joined today by a bona fide, working class hero and Wigan legend. It's none other than Independent Councillor Mr. Bob Brierley.
Hello, Jimmy.
How are we doing, sir?
Fine, thank you. Yeah.
Good. So, talk to me about your journey, on your political journey. What happened from being originally your job was a saw doctor. How did you get into local politics?
Basically, it all started off at Blackbridge Labour Club. I used to play there every Sunday at snooker with a friend of mine, and the members were kicking off saying, how come we're not having any investments put into the place? Where's the money going? Whatever. And I just mentioned to them, because I'm in business, self-employed, have a look at their accounts. The accounts can't lie. Anyway, a lot of them were like business-minded, you know what I mean? And they just asked me to look at it out of a matter of interest, so I did. Anyway, I ended up finding that £122,000 was placed under miscellaneous. There was £19,000 in one bank account being transferred, £7,000 were missing. I questioned the secretary. The secretary said it's a float. I said, I can understand a float in a till, but not £7,000. Where's the money gone? Anyway, obviously I'm asking some awkward questions, like, because I was a member of the Blackbridge Labour Club.
Yeah.
And I was set up by the committee, and they made false allegations that I'd put some cartoon posters up, slagging the committee off and everything away. It was another member, but I know who it was, but I wasn't prepared to grass, you know what I mean? I'm not that type of person. And they kicked me out of the club. And then I went to follow the process, went to St Helens, the Labour Club forum, hierarchy, whatever, you know what I mean? And eventually I went to in McCartney. God, he's a waste of space, that man as well. He was willing to help me until I mentioned my name.
Right.
And then he kicked off because his secretary, Pat Hunt, told loads of lies about me, you know what I mean, to smear me. You know what I mean, to get me out of the Labour Club because of what was going on down there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
£122,000 under miscellaneous.
That's like most Labour clubs have been up to stuff like that, haven't they? So they've all gone to the wall in the lean attack. Instead of saving all that money for lean times, they were buying caravans and conservatories and holidays and stuff.
We heard on the grapevine what some committee members was going into the local shops, putting it on the accounts, tools, using the tools, but taking them all and using the accounts of the Labour Club, you know what I mean?
And there was the old classic, wasn't there? If somebody broke in and didn't smash anything but rob the bandit kind of thing. Like.
Well, the rumours like that went along, you know.
But so from that, how did you become independent councillor for Hindley Green?
Well, I actually got into politics through Community Action Party in Goulburn.
Community Action, yeah.
Yeah, Peter Franz, you know what I mean? Very good organisation, joined it as a foot soldier. I didn't want to be a councillor. I wasn't interested really, But I was interested in helping people, you know what I mean? That was my forte in life, you know what I mean? I joined Community Action Party and then Peter Franson asked me to stand in Hindley Green, and I refused. That was in 2003.
Was this as a community action candidate?
Yeah, it was, yeah. And then in 2004, it was an all-out. Every seat were up for grabs, you know what I mean? And they needed people to stand. If you got elected, you got elected. If you didn't, you didn't, you know what I mean? Anyway, a friend of mine, John Hodgkin, who's a good friend of mine, he's died now. He dared me. Took the door on, like, you know what I mean? But at the time, I didn't really want to do it because I had problems with reading and problems with writing and understanding things, because I suffer from dyslexia.
Yeah.
And it's very embarrassing when you can't understand things and whatever. And I thought, well, being a councillor, you've got to be like on the ball, you know what I mean? And that, you know. Anyway, I took the door, and I got elected.
What did you think when you got elected? Then was like, I wasn't expecting this.
I wasn't expected to
Is
be
it like
elected.
when the Jehovah's Witness knock on the door and somebody says, come in, and they got, I wasn't expecting that, you just tell them sod off and things.
I don't think it was that for, intense, like, it was like, you rolled the dice and you got lucky 7.
Yeah.
And you won. And I was in, and then what frightened me really was the Constitution. It was like that thick.
Yeah.
Obviously, can't read so good.
Yeah.
So obviously my mate was educated, John, and he helped me through it. You know what I mean? He helped me. But what happened was I got elected on the Thursday, and a strange thing happened to me on the Friday morning.
Okay.
I got a phone call from somebody from the council, never identified who they were, and said the alarm bells are going off now in Wigan Council because you've been elected.
Is that all it said?
Yeah. And I said, what's going on? What do you mean? The alarm bells are going off, like, you know what I mean? And he says, well, they're going mad. They're going mad because you've been elected. And I thought that was very strange, really, because the only conflict I've had with Wigan Council was over the running of the Monaco.
Yeah.
Which I did, express my passion of running Northern Soul at the Monaco Ballroom.
Yeah.
When the only event was at Lawton. We never clashed with Lawton. We wanted to run it week after. Couldn't see the problem. Went through all the things and got the thing. You know what I mean? Actually got the day of putting Northern Soul at the Monaco, which we've been there like 30 years now. Like, I mean, but at the time, the council really gave me an hard time. But I give it on back.
On a smaller scale, it's like when Donald Trump got elected and no one expected, and as soon as he got elected, they'd like try to impeach him and all this. Did you as soon as you found out about the council and things, was storms brewing and they was always trying to get at you and things like that?
Well, the first 6 weeks of me being a councillor, they criminally damaged my fence.
They did?
Yeah, the council came down, cut all the trees down at the side of my house. The land that I'm adjacent to is privately owned. They're owned by the council.
Okay.
I've got a photograph, I should have brought it really. They devastated my fence, to cut all my trees down. I went mad, went court with them, won, got £1,000 off them.
So do you think they did that purely for spite?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because the 6 weeks from being elected to the complaint what went in, there were 22 allegations made against me in the 6 weeks, and didn't even know the rules, didn't even know anything, and there was plotting at everything, and like at the Three Sisters, you know what I mean? I was running the, I was going down the Three Sisters because I like motorsports, and they persuaded the leaseholders to say I'd forced entry. I got my badge, blasted them in my face and said, I'm a councillor, I'm coming on site. And you know what I mean? And over a 2.5 year period, I was suspended for 6 months. But the lies they told was unbelievable. I mean, they just went for me from the word go. Obviously from that phone call.
But you still going strong. You still, I think you're the only councillor in Wigan who is actually hands-on. Steve Jones, just Paul Maiden do a bit like he turns up like, but you help people. You cut the grass. You transport furniture. You help people with no furniture and stuff like that. You're the only councillor in Wigan doing stuff like that, aren't you?
Well, it's just like thinking outside the box, going that extra mile. I've always done it. You know? Like I said, when I first got elected, bad snowstorm. First thing I did was get a snow shovel, round to the pensioners' driveways, footpaths.
Yeah.
Clean off the footpath. Not for them to get out, for supplies, ambulances to get to them.
Yeah.
Because one year, I think it was 2009, it was 6 inches of snow, and I was actually in my ward clearing the footpath, and an ambulance came around the corner, flashing lights. So I watched him, and he went into this house. I went to him and I said, look, if you need to take the residents away, I'll clear the footpath right up to your ambulance line. Anyway, they come out and said, yeah, we have to take them away in a wheelchair. So I got up with a snow shovel and cleared the path. So they had a smooth journey from the bungalow to the ambulance. Yeah. And the ambulance driver said, like, you know, can you not follow us round? You're the only person who's actually doing things like this. I said, well, I've always done it. I started doing this when I was 6-year-old. Where I lived, obviously I was born in Plattbridge.
Yeah, so that Plattbridge you're from?
Yeah, my mum was 3 months pregnant with me and my dad died.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Bob.
So, you know, it was a bit hard, like, I mean, but you just get on with things, don't you know what I mean? And I found that if I helped a pensioner, anybody in my street, clearing the snow away with a shovel, when I needed something, they'd give it me. Like I knocked on the door, and my mum and dad, my mum was out, my granddad was out, my grandma was out, I was hungry, I used to knock on the door and they used to give me a jam butty. So
I might try that actually.
So it's like favours and it's respect. You can't put a price on a favour, can you?
Do you believe in karma? What you put out in the world comes back to you, like.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
if you do good, you get good.
Whatever it's called. It's in my book. It's called a good deed, and it's you know it's what life is.
Yeah, helping people.
Yeah. I think it's been my forte in life, like I mean, but I enjoy it. You know, that's what.
I mean, you're still doing that now with the gritting, and I saw a picture on Facebook. You're still gritting, but they're not gritting the streets, are they? They're not gritting the paths anymore, are they? They've cut they've cut back on services, aren't they? You don't have road. We mentioned it last week. There's no road sweeper anymore, is there? I've not seen a road sweeper for a long time.
Well, a lot of damage has been done by COVID, you know. And I'm not praising Wigan Council, but you know everybody's struggling.
Yeah.
And there's people off who work with Wigan Council who has to isolate because they've got elderly people. Excuse me. And you know, it's just like any big organisation. You know what I mean? They're working from home. You know, it's all emergency services what are meant to. I mean.
As a business, do you think the council, how is it run in your opinion? Is it run efficiently like a business, or if it was an actual business, would it survive on its own merits, or would it not because of how it's run?
No, it's terrible. There's too many chiefs, not enough Indians. I get inundated with people ringing me up from the council saying like, if you only knew, and you know, we've been told by officers we're not to speak to you. If we're seen speaking to you, we'll get sacked.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, it's
so if someone at the council is seen being friendly to you or associating with you, it puts their position in peril.
Staff can't approach me. They can't. Well, they can. A staff member can approach me anytime they want, and I will protect the immunity and whatever. You know what I mean? Everything they tell me is private and confidential. But when they're telling me there's all sorts going on in that depot, you know, fuel going missing, items going missing, great sand going missing, you know what I mean? It's like, hang on a minute, I'm a councillor, I'm here I was elected to hold the executive to accountability, you know what I mean? And that means the cabinet, you know what I mean? If I hear the cabinet's doing something wrong, then I'll investigate it. You mean, we work for the people. You know, there's a lot of misplaced things goes on in Wigan. The people are Wigan Council. We are elected by the people. The employees, like the chief executive and deputy, are employed by 75 councillors. They work for us. And if they don't want to do what we requested them to do, then I'm sorry, there's a door there. Go and work for somebody else who you think, you know, if you can answer back and you can disrespect an elected member. You know, I spoke out once in the town hall. I'm always speaking out like that, but I spoke out to Lord Peter Smith when he was the leader. And I made it clear that if I was the leader of Wigan Council, I would not let one officer disrespect an elected member. No matter the controlling group, the later one, an elected member, because we are elected by the people and we should have that respect. And if officers don't want to do that, go and with somebody else.
You know what? I got thrown into the town hall once for defending you. You was giving a speech on something. And you was addressing Peter Smith, and he wasn't listening to you. I just shouted something like, "This is not democracy," and I got asked for leave, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, but I just started to interject with that. It was the worst gig I've ever been to be honest. But
But that's the power they think they generate. I mean, you are the power. People power will control Wigan Council, and because every election, it's people power what gives the power to an elected member.
do you think it's frustrating with Wigan how dyed in the wool Labour they are? How like they just let Labour Council in every year, and so the Labour are complacent now, and they think they can do what they want.
It's a sad thing when, you know, people, you've got to respect them, but if they only knew what was going on, you know, like the Ints war, just, you know, a prime example, just one example here. Black Diamond. Have you ever seen that roundabout? It's disgusting. It's overgrown. It's not, them arrows are not even clean. Now that ward is run by Dave Molyneux, £60,000 a year. Jim Moody, £38,000 a year. I can't remember the lady's name. Sharrett. I don't know her first name.
Eunice or something. No, it's not. I can't remember.
Jeanette Sharrett.
Right, okay.
You know, they're on beggar books, you know what I mean? Like possibly £18,000 a year. Now that's a lot of money to generate for 3 ward councillors who's not even got the decency to get the council to clean that roundabout up.
Do you know when I stood in Ints and I was doing the door knocking and all that?
Yeah.
Somebody told me they'd emailed one of them and said, "Luke, there's loads of rubbish near my house. Is there any chance we could sort something out?" And he just got an email back, "Sorry, there's nothing I can do about that." That's what I got told on a doorstep off one of the, you know.
Yeah, but end of the day, if residents are seeing that all the time, and we know it goes on within this area, why do they vote Labour? Why? I don't get that.
And I think they believe that the Labour Party is the same Labour Party as it once was in the 50s and 60s, and it was for the people. Now you've got a Sir Keir Starmer running it's not for us anymore. It's just basically, it's a Conservative Party light, in it. In some cases it's worse.
Well, they reckon it's the Labour Party's Tories in red coats.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, if you look at the independent policies, you look after the people. It's the old Labour policies. You know, I mean, you've got it. You can't. How can you let the people down? I mean, like a councillor's job, forget the allowance a councillor gets. What do you think a councillor has to do for that?
Some of them do nothing. Am I right in thinking some of them get away with doing nothing?
Well, what would you think they have to do?
You'd think they'd have to answer every email, queries, problems that residents, tenants have with constituents have with things, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jimmy, they don't have to do that. All they have to do is turn up for a full council meeting and sign in. Straight away they sign in, 10 minutes later they can go home.
Do some of them not even answer emails off constituents? No.
Well, no. Like the technology we've got, the iPads now, if our emails are not answered, we get a kickback on it saying not read. Right. So we know.
They've been tracked in a way.
Yeah. Like I sent Chris Reader 5 important emails, never replied to them. I've recently gone on to my iPad, councillor's iPad, and they've not even been read. He's on £38,000 a year. You know, he's like, you know, he's jumping and doing somersaults and whatever. I've just give this, I've just give that. You know what I mean? End of the day, mate, it's not your money. You're giving public money away, which should be accountable.
It's like a big pot of money, and I think a lot of them think that it's their money in it to spend how they see fit or do what they want with.
Yeah.
They don't have that kind of philosophy. Is this isn't our money? It's like, oh, this is it's built in this, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
See, I don't like something happened in King Street with the old courts.
The theatre, that theatre they won.
Yeah. Obviously, they've applied through lottery granting and they got 1.25 million. Paul Maiden told me this, and I looked into it a bit. And, you know, they got £1.25 million from the National Lottery as a grant. Next thing, Terry Halliwell, nothing to do with culture, nothing to do with anything. He's a cabinet member for housing. Decides to give them a match funding of £1.25 million. Hang on, that's public money. Our streets are not done. Our potholes, our bins are not even being emptied every 3 weeks. There's other jobs need doing, in the area. There's grit bins what need, filling and whatever. I've just had to pay £35 out my Brighter Borough to fill a green grit bin. You're giving money away to these people. They don't do nothing for it.
No.
But, at the end of the day, if I set my own business up as a saw doctor, I put my own money into it because I wanted to be self-employed.
Yeah.
These people, they go to a meeting and it's like blank checkbooks. This fire within. I've never been there, I can say that, but when I listened to Steve Jones about what he was going on about, dead babies and whatever, I'm sure.
There's fucking dead rabbits and naked kids on
I'd shut them down, mate, because...
Satanic symbols. There's occult symbols on there.
Well, I can't have children, mate.
Yeah.
I was born with a medical condition. I can't have children. So when we talk about children, I'm very passionate, you know what I mean? And for a child, on display, a baby, I'm sick of these people. And then they allow children to go.
It's vile.
Vile? I mean, is this what you're voting for? Is this the Labour you're voting for? They allow people to display babies like this. What would my great-granddad would say, staunch Labour man, he wouldn't have allowed that.
No.
They'd have made them take it down, they wouldn't have allowed that. But it seems like it's the norm now.
And they had some people, was it that Peter Smith's daughter, going round Wigan dressed as traffic cones, and that's part of it. There's some kind of art display. People with traffic cones.
Yeah, I saw that. On Facebook.
This is it now. This is what we've come to. It's...
it shouldn't be the Labour Party, it should be the clown party, shouldn't it? Let's be honest.
That all courts, it's another thing that as a business, it wouldn't sustain itself. And you go on TripAdvisor and the amount of bad things, like people who had weddings there and saying the food was cold, this was wrong,
Yeah.
They're not, the bankrolling dead horses, you know what I mean?
The problem with councils is they're not accountable to the Inland Revenue. And that needs to be changed because they can spend money without accountability. And I'll tell you what, if I was a council taxpayer, a council tenant, I wouldn't be paying rent, mate.
No.
That so-called businessman at AL has got that facility for 200 years, free rent, free rates, you know what I mean?
He's decimated trees that were hundreds of years old.
Yeah, I know.
They built a monstrous... They've changed the nature of AL. It was a nice, serene place, and now it's just...
Yeah. I got some text messages. Somebody had smashed the doors over Christmas. Put the windows through the brick, windows with bricks, like, got the photographs and I put it on Facebook. I got it back. One commenter said, Bob, they're going to blame it on you, this. Well, they can't do because I got told of it about it the day before I posted it. So it wasn't me, it was people walking through who's got very passionate about the area who said, how disgusting is that? But again, we've got legal people in Wigan. They can't make it in the real world because it's just nonsense what they come out with. They've not even got any common sense.
Is it true that they sold AL for £1, or is that a myth?
It's not been sold, I know that.
Oh,
it's just
some lease.
What they did sell for £1 was the technical college in Lee.
Right. Okay.
Lord Peter Smith sold it to the Silcocks for £1. They had to sell it for £1 because £1 plus VAT.
Right.
So it was a £1.20, You can't sell it for 90p because it wouldn't calculate as VAT, you know what I mean? So it had to be £1 on the understanding they were turning it into a Victorian fairground indoor facility. Never took off. It's been turned into flats now and sold off. But why have they not put conditions in the sale of it. That if it's not being done for what it's being made out to be done for, I mean, then we get it back. Same with Formby Hall. Same with Lawton Civic Hall. They've knocked them down now and built houses.
Right.
Now, Paddy McCurran, God bless the man, he's died now, like, I mean, but he was a staunch fighter to, you know, get them back. And he found that there was a retainer, £1 million retainer on Formby Hall and £1 million retainer on Lawton Civic Hall. There's money still there. Where has it gone?
It seems like, and it must have been quite lonely for you as a councillor in the sense of you one independent councillor in that town hall, like you're surrounded by kind of like Bruce Lee in Fist of Fury when he walks into that place and there's all them Japanese raining. But you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. It must for years. It must have been very lonely. I mean, the cavalry's kind of turned up now in Steve Jones and Paul Maiden. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
You know, it was like, you know, I lost my seat in 2007 because of some dispute. That's why I'm an independent. Sorry.
Right.
That's why I'm an independent. I was with Community Action Party for 3 years. Worked my socks off. Changed Hindley Green. Everybody saw what was happening in Hindley Green. I was working very hard. And then they pulled the plug on me.
Is that Community Action? Yeah.
Community Action Party, yeah. And I left them, stood on my own merits. In 2007, lost my election. Fair enough, like, you know, and it's one of them things, like, you know, I'm upset, like, I mean, but just get on with it. And then the people started ringing me up and saying, where are you? Why is this not being done? Well, we elected you. Sorry you didn't elect me, you elected a candidate for Community Action Party. I left that group, you know, that party, I left it. And anyway, they all got together and said, there's nothing being done, we want you to stand. I said, well, if I stand, I'll stand as an independent, you know, on my own merits, and I'll fight for you, the people who elect me, you know, and for Hindley Green, because I believe Hindley Green deserves a lot more than what it does get, you know what I mean? The status has always been Abram and Hindley, but we are Hindley Green, we've got our own place, it's our own place, you know what I mean? Yeah. And, you know, it's, you know, anyway, I got elected in 2008 as an independent, battered Community Action Party, battered Labour, you know what I mean, come through, massive vote win, like, I mean, and I think I beat Labour with 400 votes and I beat Community Action with 600 votes. So standing in my own merits, obviously people wanted me, and then I've gone from there to being elected in 2012, 2016, and hopefully 2021. You know what I mean? I will be standing, you know, even though I've had, you know, all sorts done to me. But end of the day, it's the people what count.
Just going to ask you that. What kind of you've had quite a few allegations thrown at you. What kind of effect has that had on your like health and, you know, mental health? You know, when people are accusing you of all kinds of things and impropriety.
Well, that done her all and co. You know, like they accused me of stalking her and demanding sex off her, and, you know, I've been obsessed with her. And then they found out I got Klinefelter syndrome. Didn't know what it was. Only one person knew what that was, and that was Keith Cunliffe. You know, a strong Labour cabinet member.
Klinefelter syndrome. Is that you know what I mean? Telling me, is that when your body doesn't produce testosterone much?
Yeah, it's only just been, it's all over the internet now, but it was very close knit. Like, you know, one in every 600 men have got it. You can only find out when you decide what you want kids. Other than that, you just go through life. You know, things that happen in your body and you can't understand it, like, I mean. And, you know, I would never dream about tapping a woman up.
No.
Because I just not interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then later life went on. I found out when I was 21. I had some tests done, and they told me at the hospital they think I won't be able to have children.
Okay.
Which devastated me because I had lost my dad. you know, and I thought I wanted kids because I was
Yeah,
a dad, you know.
yeah.
And then, you know, you just go through life. I told my ex-wife 3 days, you know, I couldn't have children. How do you feel like that? She didn't want it, and you know, we got married. But obviously, like, you know, as time goes on, you want kids and whatever, you know, and then the marriage broke down, you know what I mean? But as later life went on, you know, I just got on with it, you know, as you do. Having this client, fellas, it's just, you just get on with it.
Does it affect your life any other way apart from? Is it no sex drive? Is that it? You don't have a sex drive?
No, that's one of the side effects.
Okay, was there any other side effects with it, or can you live a normal life with it?
Yeah, basically, you've got a woman hormone in you. You know, it's called XXY. It's like a
chromosomes.
Yeah, a woman's XX and a man's XY. The chromosomes. Me and many other men, there's only men can get it. I'm XXY.
Okay.
But I've never been tested for how many X's I've got, which established how bad your dyslexia is, because it comes with dyslexia. I don't produce testosterone, so I don't shave, I've no body hair, I've got male breasts.
You keep your shirt on, you don't have to.
Yeah, I'm not taking my shirt off. You know, I've no others on my legs, you know what I mean? I've no drive to be in a relationship with a woman.
Yeah.
But in the day, it's like how else, you know, if you're
Catch no harm though.
Yeah, you know, I've had my own business, bought my own house, I'm solvent, you know what I mean? I've not catched any harm. I've always been, it gives you common sense and it gives you intelligence. I'm not stupid, I have got intelligence, but when I can't read or write, it does take effect on some things. But technology now, if I need to spell something, I talk to me Google.
Okay.
And I speak the word into my phone, and then I spell it.
Do you not struggle with that Wigan accent, having a Wigan accent? Because when I talk to Google for something, it comes up like purple dinosaurs. I might say words in here is chipping, it'll come up the purple dinosaurs.
Oh, right.
On the back. It might be just me. But seriously, like, what's the worst allegation you've had thrown at you in all these like years of slurs and things like that?
Oh,
is there quite a few? Done her all?
Yeah.
Can I just ask you, does this involve hobnob biscuits or something like that?
That was a bit of a
Is this rolled into it kind of thing?
Yeah, it all started off before she came to Wigan. I was in a meeting. We set up Friends of AO. I set her up. It was my idea, and I got John Hume involved in it. And we set it up, and we had a meeting at AO in a pub. And halfway through the meeting, we had a break. Went out to have some fresh air.
Yeah.
And out of the blue, this lady come to me and said, I believe you're Councillor Bob Brierley. Yeah, I am, yeah. What can I do for you? You know? I need to warn you. Have you met Donna Hall yet? I said, no. I said, I've never met her. I said, I believe she's coming from Charlie. I've heard she's the ex-chief executive of Charlie and she's coming here. She says, well, please, she's coming for you. And I went, she's coming for me? Well, I've never met the woman. You know what I mean? What's she coming for me for that? She's coming to ruin your career. Please protect yourself. Now, this was witnessed in front of John Hume.
Right.
So I've got a witness to this, you know what I mean? And
do you know this woman? You don't have to name her, but do you know the woman who no, just a stranger.
Stranger. You know what I mean? I should have took decent, but I didn't take it on.
No, you thought
you said pass it off as a joke.
Yeah.
You know, a woman's coming for cripple your political career you've never met. Seemed like it's a hoax. You know what I mean?
Like death coming on a white horse or something.
Yeah. Anyway, she came and then she started making like plays towards me.
Okay.
We was in a meeting in her office. Robert Blakely was at the side of me because he was invited to the meeting as well. Out of the blue, Donna Hall said, would you like to come to my house? And I went, well, no, I can't. And she was shocked.
Was you aware this might be a play?
Yeah. yeah, I thought, is this it? Because I remember what that woman said, she's coming for... Anyway, she'd told us she was very involved with horses, cats and dogs. So I politely said to her, I'm sorry, Donna, I can't come to your house because I'm allergic to cats and dogs and horses. I can't go within 5 foot of an horse because all my eyes puff out with having asthma. I've got asthma.
Yeah.
It's another condition of,
Yeah.
whatever, And I was very straight with her, and I thought, if you think you're coming for me, what this woman said, she's going to come on to me and whatever, you can't now because I've given you a warning off. You know what I mean? This is your warning, keep away from me. Because I'm not getting in a relationship with a woman who, obviously I don't fancy, I'm no sex drive, I don't want to explain my life to somebody. I don't fancy her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got cats, dogs and horses, can't go near you.
I never trust women with cats, to be truthful with you, Bob.
Do you know?
I know. But, so, and what happened after that then? She invited you to her house and you kind of like knocked her back in a way. What was the crack after that like?
And then, she's just started being really friendly, helping me, getting sorted out within me one. I thought, it's all right, mate. She took an interest in me northern soul. She told me all sorts of stuff, We was exchanging, friendly little gifts, and stuff like that. She bought me a cake stand, I bought her some...
Did you, at this point, lower your guard as to what the woman previously warned you about because of you thought...
It was always there in the back of my mind,
okay.
I'm thinking, what is she, when is she going to come there, you know what I mean? I knew. I had an idea she was coming, but I always kept it, it's like the old saying, you keep your friends close and you keep your enemies closer.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I just played along, thinking, what's happening like? I mean, she's definitely coming because she's making so many plays. Anyway, something happened. It was up here all. I was in a meeting up here all, me and her, and she was coming on to me really strong. And I asked her, did you fancy me? And she said, yeah. So I was taken back. So I thought, oh, okay then, I'll play along with you. When you want me to up? Didn't want me to up. I thought, aye. Hang on, you're telling me you fancy me? I'm saying, okay. When are we going to meet up? I don't want to meet within the council. You know what I mean? Because I've got a private life. You know what I mean? And she didn't want me to up. So I thought, aye, what's this then about like? You know what I mean? So then, an officer approached me, said, what's going on between you and Donna Hall? I said, nothing, just friends. You know, nothing at all. And they said, well, she's changed, she's this, she's that, and the other, and she's really, her whole mentality's changed, her whole, like, she's happier coming work, and stuff like that, you know what I mean? We're all seeing a change in her, and it's all to do with you. So I thought she was a friend. So she made a pass at me, told me she fancied me. Boom, that was it, the alarm bells went off then. The officer went running down to Donna Hall.
Told her?
Oh, told her. She got up phone to me. I believe you think I fancy her. So, well, you told me you did. But if you don't, fair enough. Because I didn't want to tell her about my climb filters.
Yeah.
Because it was very personal.
Of course.
I only came out when I was 59. I've only come out and told people I've got it. That's why I'm very confident in speaking about it now.
Yeah.
Because I feel comfortable in myself to explain
what happened.
What my medical condition is, you know what I mean? And I've lost a few relationships with it, you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't open up, you know what I mean? But obviously something happened with all this stalking me, you know what I mean? Gina Merry, that's what started it. Gina Merry from Goulburn. I was helping the mother and toddler group in Goulburn to fundraise for money.
Okay.
And Gina Merry was there. Didn't even know she was there. I went out this room to go to the toilet. She pulled me up. Didn't even recognise her. She put a complaint in there, said I was stalking her. I said, mother and toddler group. Oh, what is it, mate? You know, I challenged her, said, you're telling lies. And that's when I come out and said, I've got Klinefelter syndrome. You know what I mean? Now, you know, that was like later on, but before all this is where we'd done her all. It kicked off, and then she went on a campaign of hate towards me. You know what I mean? Didn't help me, got officers for not work with me. You know, completely opposite compared to what she was, you know, in 2012, 2013. Oh, it was a disgrace. You know what I mean? 3rd of June 2013, I get a phone call from a divisional commander. Never met the guy. You need to come down to Wigan Police Station. Okay, what for? I can't tell you, so I'm not coming then. Yeah. Unless you tell me what I'm coming for, I'm not coming. All I'm telling you, I've come. I don't have to do nothing, you're only a police officer. If I'm under arrest, come and arrest me.
Yeah.
Other than that, on your bike, you know. Anyway, the day after, he turned up in my house, out of uniform.
Okay.
With his sergeant, he was out of uniform. And I think he thought he would, like, bully boy tactics, like, you know what I mean? I'd buckle and whatever, you know what I mean? Anyway, I sorted him out and said, get out of my house, like, you know what I mean? You know, I'm not prone to your threats, you know what I mean? You know, and it was all about Donnerall's lies. I'm making advances against Donnerall. I'm stalking her on the set. You're telling lies, mate. You know?
Did they go through all your emails to Donnerall then and text messages when it got to this stage and stuff like that?
Well, I didn't know that at the time, but obviously with that, getting that pre-warned, every email I sent to her, I also sent it to my private email address. So I had copies of everything.
Yeah.
So they couldn't erase anything. I got to be on my guard, you know what I mean? Because the strength of the warning was massive, Jim. It was massive, you know what I mean? Yeah. She was begging me, protect yourself, she's coming for you. You're a good counsellor, you know what I mean? Begging me. I'm thinking, there must be something there, but I didn't really take it serious. I'll be honest, I didn't take it serious until it started happening.
They have Wigan Today in their pocket though, and they do what the council, they publish what the council tell them to do. So that he was dragged through the media, he was dragged in the papers and the media with all this, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
How did that affect your health, like, with stress level? How did it affect you that, or did it not really affect you at all?
Well, it affects you in, you know, like, so, you know, sometimes I was at home and you start crying, you know, and stuff like that. With pressure, like, you know.
Because, like, sometimes there's a lot of people who don't think people are innocent, do they, when an accusation's flung, and people will automatically think that's, you know, there's no smoke without fire.
Well, a lot of people knew me, you see. I got a good reputation with non-soul. People knew I was doing to charity.
People of Hindley Green stood behind you.
Yeah, everybody knew. A lot of people in Blackbridge knew me. A lot of people in Hindley knew me. Hindley Green, you know what I mean? You know, just a good-natured guy, like. So I thought be told all this, like, I mean, but you know, Donnerall was like really strange. She was a very complex person. I say, you know, she's telling me stuff like,
yeah,
you know, what she'd gone through, how she got to her position and whatever. To be great, I tell you what, if you could get her on here.
I don't think she likes me, but I'll be honest with you.
You know,
welcome on, Donna.
Yeah, you know, come on here and have your say, because she told me loads of stuff that how she got through politics is beyond me.
Really?
To get to her position.
Do you think she's a damaged person, allegedly?
I think she's very damaged, you know.
Yeah.
I think. You know, I couldn't believe how she opened up to me in 2012, and then do what she did in 2013. She's very unpredictable, you know what I mean? And you can tell with some of the stuff she comes out with on YouTube and stuff like that, when she puts on like the Believe in Her, you know what I mean? And like, it's like all her, you know, like her role, what she's gone through, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can tell that, you can listen behind it, like, I mean, she's like pushing women for stand up for you, right, you have got rights, sexual abuse and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, men whistling on balconies at women. You know, fair enough, it is very crude, you know what I mean? But a few years ago it was in the norm, but now it's not.
We just live in a time now. It's ridiculous what you can't say.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just it's getting worse every year.
And I think where women went for the equality, which I'm a very strong believer in, you know, it's now, when are we going to get the equality?
The tail's wagging the dog now with all these minority groups who've got to learn calling the shots.
It's not equality now for men and women. It's women have got the upper hand.
All of it, the gay rights. There's no equality because if you're a heterosexual white male, you're probably in the minority now about how you're viewed in the world, kind of thing.
But at the end of the day, you should never judge anybody if they want to be what they want to be. You know, it's like you know, I've got people I know, very good friends of mine, you know what I mean, and the gay. No, whatever, you know what I mean.
I wasn't saying. I was kind of saying that it should be equilibrium and a balance and fair play.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Where it was once like, you know, gay rights. But
it was taboo, wasn't it? You know,
yeah, but now it's like, well, you know, that's the way things are going.
It's established in the social calendar.
But you're not the first person to fall under the Wigan Council's jack boot. Gareth Forrest have a rough time under Wigan Council.
Yeah, well, you know, what happened to Gareth was very bad. You know, he
got dragged out to his house, didn't he, or something, and arrested.
Donna Hall really went for him and over the election and stuff like that. She made a beeline for every opposition. You know what I mean? It was like, I think she was a Labour member myself.
Yeah.
There's a policy within Wigan where officers have not to show their allegiance to a political party. It's in the code of conduct.
Okay.
For the officers. I mean, you see every photograph with Donna Hall in the limelight of being with MPs, the mayor, the leader, the cabinet. She's always got a red jacket on.
Yeah, symbolic.
Symbolic, armed labour. You know, and I think she worked that closer with Peter Smith. He allowed her to get away with what he wanted to get away with. And I think she was the scapegoat, you know, because Labour couldn't get rid of us. You know, I mean, we were strong characters. But at the end of the day, it's up to the people who we vote for, isn't it? I mean, just because Labour don't like us, it doesn't mean we're not good councillors.
What was the incident with the hobnobs? Was you accused of assaulting someone with hobnobs?
I got a phone call from employees. Oh, we must tell you this. It's hilarious. I'm going to say, well, go on then. He said, well, we've just had a seminar with Donna Hall. We've all been sat around the table and she come in with a pack of biscuits. And she put a biscuit in the centre of the table. Tickle me this. And then people had got to look at the biscuit, tell them the texture of the biscuit, tell them the compound of the biscuit, the makeup of it, you know what I mean? And that was like, I don't know what that was about.
Like a team building exercise.
Yeah.
With biscuits.
So I laughed it off me, like, and said, well, if that's the case, I'd like to be involved in it, you know what I mean? So I bought a pack of hobnob biscuits and took them to the town hall. Put them on my desk, facing Donna Hall, you know what I mean? You know, I thought so. Well, it was just a bit of fun. That's all it was. It was like getting humour into politics, you know, because it's all straight laced.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, I left the town hall. The meeting ended like I was outside with Paul Maiden and another guy, and as John Hall walked out, she walked out as if she was, how can I explain it? Michael Jackson. She was in the centre of the entourage. Is it called entourage?
Entourage, yeah.
Entourage, and she was like escorted out of the building, and all I shouted was, Donna, got a pack of hobnobs here for next meeting, I'd love to come. And her face was like real, like thunder, you know what I mean? Now all she had to do was say, thanks Paul, I'll use them for next meeting. And that's it. Accept them for the gesture that it was given, you mean? But I never got near it, Jimmy. Now, obviously one of the complaints was, when I got locked up at Bury for 14 hours, I assaulted her with a packet of hobnob biscuits.
That takes the biscuit, doesn't it?
It does take
Sorry,
the
Bob.
biscuit. It does, yeah.
Got me bad
You know,
joke at work.
and what makes it worse, you know, is I was reading the other day the report from the police, you know, of what I was being charged with, and some officer was prepared to put in writing that they saw me thrust a packet of hobnob biscuits into Donna Hall's hands, which that was one of the charges, assault by thrusting a packet of biscuit into Donna Hall's hand. Couldn't get near her, Jimmy. I must have been between 8 and 10 foot away from her. Couldn't get near her.
I'd have chose a jammy Dodger. That's a good biscuit. But anyway, we've got a few questions, Bob, if that's all right.
Yeah.
One of the regulars on the chat, it's called Bloom and Grow. That's quite a few questions for you. If you could choose any job within Wigan Council, what would you choose and why? Biscuit liaison officer.
No, I'd choose to be a leader.
Leader.
Because being leader, you can get better things done. You can encourage the workforce. You know what I mean? Take suggestions off them because they're ground floor level like we are. I mean, it's like the people communicate with who they can see. That's why I'm very popular in the Green, because people see me. I live there. They've knocked on my door. You know what I mean? I live in the area, and it's the same with our dustbin men. You know, people talk to them and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You know, like all this fly tipping now. You know, I don't think people realise if you ring the council, they will come and pick the stuff up for a small fee.
Yeah.
You know what? You know these cage vans.
Yeah.
Will go round. They will come and pick your items up. I use them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I do, you know.
Yeah, prime example, you know, the church in Hindley Green, all the leaves, you know, massive leaves, you know. Now the people, the churchgoers, they put the leaves in the bags and put them outside of the church. I ring the council up and say, can you get somebody to remove these? Gives that person a job. It's not a burden.
No.
We're keeping you in a job.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the grass cutting I do. I don't cut the grass to keep somebody out of a job. The agreement was they cut the grass, I go along and cut it again, but pick it up.
Yeah.
To make our grass verges look
I
really
need
smart.
ask something about this.
Yeah.
As a Labour councillor called John Vickers tried to steal your thunder with the grass cutting.
He
Didn't he lock a park up or something so you couldn't cut the grass, so he could only cut it? Am I wrong in thinking that? I saw something on Facebook.
I believe he put the padlock on. I don't know if it was him or not, but I was led to believe it was him.
So you couldn't cut the grass, he could cut it instead. Is that how it works?
I don't think I think it was about keeping me off, but he couldn't keep me off actually because I had a key to the main gate.
Is this an example of how childish they get in Labour?
Yeah. You know, it's you know, the then Labour candidate was standing last year against me, was out with his golf trolley saying, I'm cleaning up Hindley Green. He only did it once. Well, if you go and do it, lad, do it. You know what I mean? Don't think, you know what I mean, it's you can do it once and get elected. People have got to see what you're doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
John Vickers has been elected. You can't take that away from him. He's been elected.
In Hindley Green, yeah.
Yeah. He's a Labour councillor.
I thought you could only have one candidate per borough.
No,
area, sorry.
No, there's 3 councillors.
Okay.
There's 3 councillors. That's the rules on it. 3 councillors. Gets elected 1 year, then a seat is up for next year. There's 3 seats up, and then the 4th year it's a no election. It's a skip. You know what I mean? So if you get elected, say in 2012, there's no elections in 13. It starts again in 14. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a gap. There is a gap. You know what I mean? With whatever. But John Vickers, he's elected councillor and he does things how he thinks fit. But obviously, you know, if he's going to do it, buy your own mower, John.
Yeah,
Don't use a community group one. They bought one for a community garden, and it was for a nice little garden. It was only a small mower. He was using it for heavy duty stuff.
Or would damage it.
Which would damage the mower.
Yeah, cool.
And he didn't buy it. The community members bought it for the grass verge, I mean, and it was all their money out at raffles and whatever. And he shouldn't have been allowed to use that.
No.
You know what I mean? And same with the other candidates. They went and cut a field. It was mega. It was a massive field, you know what I mean?
With a small
mower. You know, it was suicide, really. You know what I mean? What they were doing. But obviously, it was copycatting. You know what I mean? They knew I did it, but they couldn't do it as good as I did because I had a professional mower. You know, and you know, I picked the grass up, whereas they didn't pick it up because the mower, they'd have been there till doomsday. You know, cutting the grass, filling the grass up, putting it in whatever. Mine was like 240 litre grass box. You know what I mean? Tipped into a wheelie bin off a trailer.
But it's not those to damage as well, is it? You know.
Well, that's it. But being a qualified saw doctor, the mower is well maintained. The lifeline of a mower, the blades have got to be sharp. I can sharpen them. I'm a qualified saw doctor. I mean, so every other well, I did it the whole of Hindley Green. Then I'd service my mower, clean it all out, and get it ready for when it goes out again. It's like new. You know what I mean? And the blades was always sharp. That's why he gave a good job.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, instead of chomping its way through, it was cutting its way through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which was better for everybody. Like, I mean, some grass verges, I took the box off the back to feed the grass. You know what I mean? Like the football pitch at the back of my house. I never have the grass box on the back because the amount of fertiliser from grass into grass, that's the best fertiliser.
Right.
And it does a really good job, and everybody, you know, respects it. And the kids what play on the pitch call it mini Wembley.
Urine's good for grass. And I'm not saying that you urinate on the pitch, but there's nitrogen in urine, isn't there, for gardening, I think.
Oh, no.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Bob, but that question too.
Yeah.
What would you say is your best, proudest achievement so far as a councillor?
A couple actually. I got a phone call once from a lady I went to school with about her mother. She'd just had 2 hips replaced, couldn't walk, you know, needed help, adaptations to her house, you know, so I went down, spoke to the lady. She was very upset. She was showing me she couldn't do this, couldn't do that, couldn't do all that. She requested, made a list, say about 10 items, you know what I mean, whatever. I can't remember most of the items now, like me. So I said to her, well, what you need to do now is ring them back. Your circumstances have changed. So you're in a worse position now from what you was last week to this week because you're not getting better. So your circumstances have changed.
Yeah.
So I said, invite them back and I'll be here. But don't tell them I'm here. Invite them back, said your conditions have worsened and you do need help. You know. Anyway, I was in the house. The officer came in. Obviously I introduced myself to the officer. Said, I'm here to observe. I'm not here to tell you your job. I've never been involved in anything like this before. But we're interested to understand what your job is and what the rights of the residents are compared to getting adaptations to their house. Yeah, no problem. So the lady went round and I'm following them round, you know what I mean? And, you know, I had the odd question because it was fascinating to you know, get involved with an officer, you know, doing the job. And then I said, right, are you okay now? I said, can I leave you now? Because they were discussing something. I said, and I'll go into the front room and you discuss whatever. Yeah, no problem, whatever. So I went in the front room. Next thing, the lady come in crying. I went, oh God. I was really upset that she'd not got anything, you know what I mean? or she'd gone through every item as she'd been knocked back the week before. And I thought, oh, you know, it's a shame, like, I mean, because to me she was in a lot of pain. She needed these helps, you know, like grips on doors, ramps, you know what I mean?
Rails coming to the house.
And helped in the house and whatever, you mean. Now, she lived in a private house, so I knew it weren't means tested. That means no matter whether you're on a council house or you have your own private house, it's all about the care for the person. Right. Anyway, she came in and she was crying. And I was upset for her, really. I said, "Are you all right, love?" She said, "Upset?" She said, "I've got everything. They knocked me back last week." I went, "Who's that?" You know, I was like, I can't believe it now. That woman went round with the officer the week before with the same medical conditions as she had the week after with me though, and everyone she knocked back, she got. Now that to me is incredible, isn't it? And I've got people like who wanting walk-in showers, you know what I mean? You know, following the procedure, you know, and they've been knocked back by the council. I've got there, told them the procedure, and they've got them. I mean, I got one guy, a walk-in shower. He was moving into his flat, and they said, "Yeah, you can have a walk-in shower, but it's going to take 3 months." Hang on a bit. There's a bungalow just down the road, what you've just completed in 6 weeks with a walk-in shower built in. So don't tell me it's going to take 3 months. Anyway, I made him sort this walk-in shower out for the gentleman. So when he moved in the downstairs flat, because of his medical conditions, you know what I mean, he got a walk-in shower. Things like that it's brilliant.
Yeah.
That the procedure, if you follow them procedures, really, you should be able to get what you need. You know what I mean? It's,
The sad thing is, how many of these councillors are actually doing what you're doing? I know Paul Maiden's done a lot with markets and fighting for the traders' rights and things, but actually the Labour lot, how many is going the extra mile that you are? How many are going out into the community and actually doing things? And how many just sitting back, going to the meetings, going?
Well, we don't know that,
you know,
because
but,
you know. Well, end of the day, I think John Vickers is following my lead because he knows it's a proven product.
I suppose it's a good thing in a way, at least, that it's making people follow your lead.
Yeah.
But question 3. What within the council do you regard as a waste? We could be here a long time. What do you regard within the council as a waste of money? What would you get rid of, or what would you improve?
Like I say, it's top heavy. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
Need to drain the swamp.
I think that's Paul Maiden's thing. Like, you know, it's not a swamp as such. It's
well, he's got that off. You know, internet.
Is it right? Yeah. It's all about common sense, really. I mean, it's a sad affair when you're trying to get something done, and that officer can't do it because they have to go to that officer, that officer, that officer. You know what I mean?
Bureaucracy, red
tape. It's ridiculous, and I mean,
is it designed that way to wear people out? Do you think it's designed that way, or it's just inefficient and it's just?
I think it's just inefficiency. You know what I mean? It's like me and Paul was in a meeting with the director and the deputy director of Makefield Depot, and there was £260,000 worth of wages with them two sort there, and it was like, we'll try to get it sorted out. We'll try. No, hang on. You heard the last 2 protocols. If I tell you to do something, you get it done. The man will try. I mean, it's all right saying to the basic officer, I'll try to get it sorted out because he has to have permission off him. But you two at the top of the bloody tree. So you get it done. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, I've had run-ins with, you know, a few of them, and I have got evidence of one officer actually encouraging people to make complaints about me. Now, this incident, Paul Maiden was with me, Lee Sports Village, a presentation, Wigan in Bloom. I informed an officer that I'd be coming down. All the tickets had gone. No problem, I'll stand at the bar. I just stood there to show my support to the group who'd worked very hard. And if they got an award, I would be like to see they got an award. For 25 minutes, I was absolutely abused in the foyer, right, by these members of the public and the 4 security staff waiting for me.
Were these people put up to it, do you think?
Yeah, they was put up with it. I've got the evidence to
Paul
prove
Maiden,
it.
you got Paul Maiden to back you
Paul
up.
Maiden was there, but I had a digital recorder in my hand.
That's coming handy a few times in your career.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, that's what the woman said to me. Protect yourself. And, you know, I sent Donna Hall an email once on the 1st of October 2012, before all this started, saying, Donna, can you please send an email out to all your employees, informing them I'll be shortly purchasing a digital recorder and I'll be recording all my duties as an elected councillor. So if you think you can't come in for me, I'm protecting myself. So I was pre-warning them. Didn't take effect with them.
The amount of stress you must have been through to keep your position, it must be immense. It must have took a toll on your health. Have you got stress levels? How do you deal with it now? Is it just like the way it is?
It's just the way it is. You know, my best stress relief is I like relaxing, watching cinema. I like dancing. The world of Northern Soul is...
Can you cut a few moves on the Northern Soul?
Yeah.
Can you do all that spinning and like? Yeah.
I didn't do the spinning but I could, as the word glide, I could glide.
Can you? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people come to me and said, "You're a good mover, Bob." You know what I mean? But I think I got that from my dad. He was a good dancer.
It's a pity we've no footage of you gliding around like Fox closed the show. We're not closing the show yet. We've got another 7 hours to do.
No.
But
but that's that. You've got to find
peace.
You've got to find stress relief.
Yeah.
Or else you'll crack up. You know what I mean? You know, there's a few people, they hang themselves and stuff like that. It's a pity you can't get to them and say, like, why don't you just get into charity? If you're not getting satisfied from your life, help somebody. Get satisfaction from that. You know, go on. You know, when do you see helping a little old lady across the road? When do you see anybody go into somebody's garden and help them clean it up because they're too old for to do it? Yeah. You know, I help out with the church. You know what I mean? I go that extra mile, and you know, and like this year with the Christmas decorations, the church they couldn't even open the doors for the church. I mean, because of all the restrictions, they couldn't have electric power put Christmas lights outside the church. They couldn't do anything inside. And one lady said, well, why don't we put it outside and the windows outside? So I think, well, I was already a keen battery operated Christmas lights, you know what I mean? Which the council want hundreds of pounds for switching electric lights on. You know what I mean? Putting them up, taking them down. Costs a fortune, you know what I mean? Paul Mendes just had paid £2,700 out of his Brighton Borough for 12 lights. I put up this year for £500 battery operated lights. I put on 30 lampposts. I decorated 2 churches, right? And the crowning glory was a little old lady what couldn't get out of her house, put suckers on the windows and put battery operated lights round the window, which was outdoor lights. There was outdoor protected lights, battery operated. So whether it was on a timer, they came on for 6 hours and they went off for 18. And that little old lady was fantastic. She, you know what I mean? I gave a few old people battery operated lights like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
it was something and nothing. Now, the battery operated lights cost a tenner and the batteries cost three AA batteries.
Yeah.
And the batteries lasted a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I can't put the money through for the batteries through the Brighton Borough, but I spent £500 of my Brighton Borough money, put the lights up, but I paid for the batteries out of my own pocket because I like doing things like that. I mean,
yeah.
It's like before allowing the council to knock you back,
Yeah.
Oh, you can't have that to me about it. I wasn't bothered. It's same with the mower. I bought the mowers through my own pocket. I do the running costs through my own pocket because I want to. You know, I don't do it for whatever.
Money making a buck.
Yeah. You know, and at Christmas time, I was always taught to be generous. You know what I mean? And there's a certain Christmas party in Hindley Green. I used to buy the pensioners a little drink at Christmas, a little bottle of brandy, a little bottle of whiskey.
Did you ever do Northern Soul dancing for them, or did you just give them whiskey?
I asked me to do some dancing once, and I did.
Fair play. I'd like to see you. I can't dance. I stopped when I turned 30. I decided to stop dancing because I looked like an idiot. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bob, what would you like to be remembered for in your dotage? We didn't know. None of us knew what that word meant till Colin googled it. I think it was dotage means when you've retired from. How would you like to be remembered in the council and what you did? You know.
I think the changes in the dream, what they've received.
Like you said, all the help you've done.
All the help. I think Hindley Green now is very well again established, and the house prices have gone up. People want to live in Hindley Green because of the services councillors provide, and we're always looking for better things. You know what I mean? Like. I know Paul's going to have to pay for these lights again next year, but we've got an extra £10,000 to spend on Christmas decorations next year, which it's going to be a spectacular light show. I'm planning now. You know, I was even planning some idea I saw this year. You know, I mean, what to do next year, which I thought was a fantastic thing. Like, I mean, but we're going. Well, I'm going to implement it next year. I can't really tell you because John Vickers might be watching it. I mean,
you could dress Paul Maiden up as an elf. You know what
done
I mean?
That once.
Do you not think? Did you do that? Yeah.
Yeah, he was dressed up as an elf with last year's Christmas party at Sacred Heart Pensioners
Fair play.
I was Santa Claus. He was an elf.
Nothing wrong with that. It's a force to be reckoned with, like Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
You're kind of like Batman and Robin of Hindley Green, aren't you? Pair of you kind of thing. Question 5. If anyone watching, listening, is thinking that they should become a councillor, what would be your best advice tips for them, apart from buy a dictaphone?
Just approach councillors who will give you some good advice. You know what I mean? Like myself, I'd give them advice. And
you helped me.
yeah,
I stood twice, and you helped me. You helped me with all the paperwork and all that.
Yeah,
which I appreciate.
It's not just a case of I'll be elected and sit on my backside. Stephen Jones, he's a good adversary in the community. He's works really hard.
Got that little shop in Bryn. There's I don't know what it's called. There's a food bank type shop in Bryn.
Yeah, I helped him put the sign up. Helped him put the shelving up, and you know he's good. And it's a shame. It's a shame that this labour organisation called Wigan target people like who want to do good in the community.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to get rid of us, be better than us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, not do your dirty tactics and go at him. You know what I mean, like Donna Hall said, you resigned. No, he didn't resign.
How many like food banks and things like that could they get started with the money for Fire Within, the pictures of naked kids and dead rabbits and egg bark wheels on walls in galleries? Well,
they've actually done that. They gave Fir Clement, I believe, £250,000.
What is Fir Clement? Is that their own kind of food?
Well,
place?
it was set up to give food away like we're giving away, but they cooked it as well.
Right.
So they'd come and have a meal and people would give a donation. But where did £250,000 go? In a year?
Don't need that on saucepans, do you really?
Where's it go? Well, we believe a brand new van we bought, but we don't know what happened. But, you know, they run out of money. There's loads of them. They're like on the gravy train. I think that's the gravy train. You know, and then like say, Dave Mulligan, why is he on £60,000? He's an elected councillor. We should all be on the same. You know, it shouldn't be like Or I'm a chairperson, so I want more money. Hang on. You just do exactly as what I do. I sit in that committee. But I'm not allowed to be on committees there because I
Speak your mind.
I exploited them.
You're a maverick, and they don't like that, do they? They're like yes
No.
men. Am I right in thinking that you're meant to live in your ward if you stand in it and are elected in it?
No, they say it's better if you do, because if you live in the ward, then you know the area.
Yeah.
So people in the area know you. It's a better thing to actually live in the ward. But people don't live in the ward.
What do you think of Moody? Like Moody lives up Standish or something, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
but it's a staunch Labour ward here, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a really strong Labour ward. That's why they get away with it.
I tried to crack it and I couldn't crack it. You know what I mean? It takes a better man than me to crack the Labour.
No, I think the problem with politics as we stand now, it's always Labour Tory. You know what I mean? It is coming through now that there's a lot of independents getting a lot of things done in the areas. You know what I mean? But end of the day, if people are staunch Labour, and it's like, they'll always vote Labour because my granddad and my great-granddad and great-granddad. You've got to respect that, you know what I mean? And, I was a pitman and whatever, I'll never vote Tory. You've got to respect that as well.
Yeah.
Because it was Tory what shut the pits, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff what goes on, but then again, there's a lot of Labour people turning away from Labour because they're being listened to. The internet's brilliant. People are getting on the internet and finding out a lot more.
Paul Maiden has a group done here, Wigan Council, what are you doing to our town on Facebook?
Yeah.
I'll put a link to that under here. This is not really a question, it's more of a statement from Dave Munday. He says, Bob, I didn't know there was a Wigan Council. Have you ever tried contacting them? They're like some kind of secret society. Roads are a mess, pavements are a mess, grass doesn't get cut, bins don't get emptied. There's rats and no police unless they are 30 strong at the side of the roads giving fictitious tickets. You're doing a great job, carry on.
I can relate to that. If a fine example I can relate to, a lady complained about a car being on a grass verge, and she contacted John Vickers first, which is her right. John Vickers said you need to contact the council. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Vickers, we are the council.
You're passing the buck.
He was passing the buck, and I thought, so I replied back to him and said, look, I'll be sending your inquiry to the relevant department and the relevant officer to address your issues to the best availability we can. You know what I mean? And that, I can understand what this gentleman's saying. If he's contacting the council through the system, which you're on phone, you're 15th in the queue.
Yeah.
An hour later, you're 14th in the queue.
They encourage people to use the internet. There's a lot of old people not got the internet.
That's right, yeah.
And there's a lot of parking things in Wigan now. You have to use the internet.
Yeah.
A lot of old people don't use the internet. They use cash. They're used to speaking to humans.
That's right. They're used to what they're used to, but they're like driving you away from stuff like that. I mean, but it's like if you want to be a councillor, then you are the council to help the people. They need help. I'll listen to them and I'll do the best I can. We was actually in a seminar once when I first became a councillor, and all these older men like Jim Ellis and Barry Fagan, older than me, you know what I mean?
Jim Ellis is Hindley, is he Hindley?
Hindley, yeah. And all, who else was there? Norman Bradbury were there, you know what I mean? Now these are older men, he's lived a better life than probably than me, and whatever, anyway. And I was in the seminar with this guy, and he come up with a question. I'll ask you the question now. What would you do, Jimmy, if you was a councillor and somebody came up to you with a complaint? How would you address it?
I'd try and answer it or help them. All right.
What would you do?
Well, I'd try and I'd speak to them. I'm on the spot here, and I'm under pressure. I'd speak to them and say, "What's your problem?" and see how I could help them.
No,
Is that the wrong answer?
Yeah.
Go on.
you'd listen to them.
All right.
You'd listen to
So
them. That's
stupid,
what I
mate.
said.
I feel so stupid.
And the gentleman went, wow, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
everything I said, because it related to common sense, he said you was right, you. And he told me, he said, you're going to be a great councillor, you. Just by answering common sense questions. You listen to them. You can't address what they want you to do, but unless you listen to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thought, whatever. And I did I entered the, I think it once, Democratic Week, and I was voted best councillor.
Well, you definitely,
that was
you
interesting.
certainly are, really. You're up there. Got a couple more questions for you before we wrap up this podcast, Mr. Bob. What have we got here? Pay Faz asks, is the council right for taking backhanders? Are you allowed?
What's that? Pay Fab?
Pay Faz, his name is.
Pay Faz.
So are you allowed to answer that, or would you rather?
Well,
you can't really say, can you? I suppose, or can you say?
It was like it's in there somewhere that brown envelopes did, exchange. But how do you prove it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we had the technology and the expertise and the support from the police, you know what I mean? How would you describe a backhander? Now, I personally think that Wigan Council are up to no good by paying out under a word called General Governance Matters.
Right.
Now, I came across, now I can tell you this because I've got a copy of the invoice. Donna Hall, in her wisdom, was trying to get a solicitor to force me to sign a document saying I was telling lies, that Donna Hall told lies to the police.
Okay.
And this company was the solicitors, Beechcroft Solicitors in London, right? And they were sending me letters and they're ringing me up, why will I not sign this document, because we could be taking you at court and, you could lose your rights, we could bankrupt you. I said, well, I know she tells lies because I've got a recording that she does tell lies to the police.
And they had that
and that blew them out, And anyway, I went and started digging, got in touch with the district audit, got a copy of the invoice, what was paid to the solicitors, and it was paid under General Governance Matters.
So she's used her own personal expenses out of the coffers of the government.
She's used her position with public money to try to get me to sign a documentation that I was misleading the people.
So is that's an offence? That's an offence.
Yeah, I think that's an offence. That's misuse of public funding. And that's, there's a lot of stuff going on, and possibly this fire within. That could be mistrued, that, because, all these businesses, the courts and stuff like that. When are these private businesses going to put money in from their own pockets? Why is it coming from the public purse? And we as independents, we need to highlight this and bring it to accountability. But hopefully now the police force has had a reprimand, they will start listening to our complaints. Where, a complaint that, misconduct in public office, misuse of public funding, you know what I mean? You ask a question to the director of finance, I've just sent him an email quoting all the legislation and regulations, what he should be doing, that I want to see all payments made under General Governance Matters. And we should be entitled to that because obviously an elected member is holding the executive to accountability. Yeah. That's why people need to vote more independence in, to get more disclosure for what's going on in this Wigan town, Labour town.
We need an influx of independent candidates.
It happened in Bolton. Bolton got rid of Labour. I mean, when he spent that...
Lee have got rid of Labour, haven't they?
Yeah.
Two more questions, Bob, then I'll release you from this dungeon. Right, pay Faz again. He just said, why do you think Wigan Council have used the same contractors for over 35 years?
There's a system within Wigan. It's an approved list, and on the approved list, there's certain contractors. They have to meet the criteria of. They have to have insurance policies in place. Blah blah blah. I come across this when I put the footpath around Westlake. The council only allowed me £20,000 budget to get the work done. The contractors on the approved list A, there's 3 lists actually, there's A, B and C. The approved contractors on A came in at 54,000, 44,000 and 42,000 to put a footpath around Westlake of 654 metres by 1.2 metres wide, shuttering up with tarmac around it. I said, well, hang on a bit, I'm only getting 20 grand, so how am I going to get that job done? So they'd be working with the council to put in high figures, so as the work wouldn't get done. Right. So that would make me out for, what are you voting him for? Can't get no done, you know what I mean? So then, my common sense kicked in then. Said, right, I want the list of list B. Because they had their own insurance companies and whatever. They matched the criteria, but they never got any work. So I contacted 2 contractors. I told them what I wanted. They come back with a price. Didn't tell them what I got to spend. Not like Lord Peter Smith did with a statue once. I just said, look, I know you're a company, you've got to make a butty, I'm a business man myself, can you please give us a price on whatever? So we give him the figures, the specifications, you know what I mean? He come back, 18,500. So then I went back to Wigan Council Leisure Department, Wigan Leisure Culture Trust at the time, and I said, right, I want to use this contractor, get the job done. We want it termite. We won't get the people of Hindley Green out in muddy conditions. Because people enjoy walking around Westlake, but we want a nice footpath, you know what I mean? Away from muddy conditions. Well, we can't do because he's not followed our procedure, our conditions, the specifications. No problem whatsoever. Anyway, I said, give him your specifications, common sense again, you know what I mean? See what he comes back with. So he rings me up, the contractor. He said, council's been in touch with us, the leisure. They want another price. Yeah, no problem. Just give them a price. Can't, just listen to their specifications and give them a price. I can't be further than that, mate. You're a businessman. Got your own company. Please give them a correct figure of that price for the specifications. No problem. Next thing, he sent me a copy and sent him a copy. Same price. That was it. He was in. So I went down to the council then, Leisure Trust, and said, right, he's in. If he can do it under your specifications, which was exactly the same as mine, he's got the job, get him in. Really? Anyway, he got in. Now, this is how bad Wigan Council is. You've got these people on the list A who work between themselves, we've been told, that 2 of them will go in too high and the 3rd one will go in high, make a lot of money. Is this where the backhanders come in? Is this where the brown envelopes come in? We'll never know until we get more people elected to do the investigations that we are doing all the time. And that's what they're frightened of. This is why they make things up about us. This is why the extreme are putting me in prison, in a police cell for 14 hours, thinking they'll break me. You know what I mean? To get me out of politics, to stop exploiting these conditions they're putting people under. They need to wake up and smell the coffee. Use your intelligence. We need people in independence getting in to get rid of this barrage of
cartel
misconduct in using public money. It's like I've just had a letter off the council a drop curb. £148 to put a drop curb in. What are we paying our council taxes for? Each ward will generate £5 million. Do you ever see £5 million spent in your wards? I don't think so. I mean, I'm fighting all the time to get better things in Hindley Green, and we're coming across issues time after time after time, but we do need support. Please go out there and please vote properly. Get rid of this Labour mafia, I mean, and get Wigan back to where it should be. Be proud of Wigan where we live.
Hear, hear.
Thank you.
That was a fantastic way to end, but I have one more question for you, and it's a light question to end on. That was a brilliant ending, that, really. It was like the end of Braveheart or something like that. But Alex Shirley asks you, how do you get your blades on your mower so sharp that they'll cut crisp? Hello, Alex Shirley.
Hello, Alex. Well, as your dad pointed out once...
That's Steve Shirley.
Yeah. He thought he could sharpen a chainsaw until I came along and sharpened a chainsaw. And he did admit that my quality of sharpening was 10 times better than his. So, I'm just good at my job.
It's not only the shit chainsaw that's... I can't even fucking say my words.
Chainsaw.
It's not only the chain... I've ruined it. It's not only the chainsaw that's sharp, it's you, Bob. And I can't say the same for me. But please vote for this man. He is a man of integrity and honour. He's a working class hero. He's out there on the streets doing it for people. He's not just sat on his arse in the town hall collecting money. Bob Brierley, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Very much. Yeah.
Have you any final words to close with?
Thanks for inviting me. I'll come again if you want.
You can come as well. We'll get some hobnobs next time.
Yeah, we'll bring some hobnobs, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
then. Thanks a lot, Bob. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.